Welcome to Let's Talk Surrogacy, a podcast where we explore all things surrogacy, the journeys, the insights, and the remarkable people along the way. Today, we're thrilled to be joined by Brittany, a surrogate, and Anja and Christian, the intended parent she carried for. Today, they'll share the remarkable story of how their surrogacy journey not only brought one child into the world, but also led to a second journey and the completion of their family. From matching and delivery to a lasting connection that brought them back together again, this is a story of trust, gratitude, and what it means to become family. Brittany, Anja, and Christian, thank you so much for joining us today. Let's start by having each of you introduce yourself and what led you to surrogacy.
So my name is Anja. I'm 45 years old. I live in Switzerland. I love sports. I do have 2 kids and a lovely husband. And what made us to choose surrogacy is that I couldn't carry my own child.
So my name is Christian, live in Switzerland. I love outdoor activities, running, kite surfing, and have 2 lovely kids and an exceptional wife.
My name is Brittany, and I live in Missouri, and I have 2 kiddos and a wonderful husband. And what brought me to surrogacy is we were done building our family. We had our boys. We had good pregnancies with our boys. And I just couldn't imagine life without our kiddos. We thought, what better way to help another family by being able to help give the gift of life?
Well, let's just go ahead and get started, if that's all right with everyone. This question is for Anja and Christian. When you were going through the matching process, what were you each hoping to find in like a right match? Like, what helped you recognize that this was a right fit for you?
I think it's a difficult question because I think they asked us when we were in the matching process we had to write the resume on what we're expecting. And actually, I think both of us, we felt a bit ashamed of actually even demanding something from someone that does such a big present, right? So it was actually awkward being asked to put kind of requirements on someone that does actually a present for us. So we were struggling actually quite heavily in expressing even what we wish for. And we came for that we'd like to meet someone that has a passion, that somehow has something that lights up their eyes, that has, and it doesn't matter, we love sports, but it doesn't matter, it could be painting, it could be anything, but that we meet someone that has this passion in life, anything that is worth, that makes them laugh, that makes them love, that makes them, and then I guess that's what we were hoping for, find someone that has this sparkle in their life. And yeah, I think that's what we hope for.
That's kind of living a purpose-driven life, or has some sort of passion that is, exactly. that, like you said, lights them up. Mm-hmm. Well, I'd say that's a pretty cool requirement. Now, Brittany, what lights you up then, I guess, is my question to you.
Family, for sure. I would 100% say my passion in life is family and helping others create theirs. So, yeah, definitely, we're very adventurous people. Our family's very adventurous, just the same as Anja and Christian. And so, we're very active and outdoors and so I think my big thing was family.
Well, then I can see how that would be a match.
Perfect match.
Were there any surprises or unexpected moments during the matching experience, things that you didn't anticipate or had to navigate together early on?
I think it was super easy. I think the matching was straightforward. So I think we connected directly, and I think after the first minute, it was clear we have similar energies, passion, and we were like, yeah, easy. The maybe one thing is when you go through that matching process, you have some tough questions to answer, like abortion, or what do you do if things go wrong? How would you react? you need also to write it's before matching, I think, a wills, a testament. What happens if one of us would die? How would we handle that kind of stuff? And it's super important to think about it, but somehow we got the paper with the questions, and you're like, oh, how do we answer that, right? And I think it's a tough question you need to answer for yourself very early on. And I think it makes then the whole matching and the relationship then after easier, because the tough answers were already answered somehow, or shared.
You got through the hard stuff. It's kind of like will planning. It's not really fun to think about, but a necessity, you know, if you're going to have children, especially.
Yeah.
This was our second journey going into all this. And so I think something surprising for us that kind of came about was Anja and Christian were actually our second profile that we received. We had received a first profile and just for reasons had passed on the first profile. And so our first journey was our first profile that we received and we were matched. And then this journey, I expected the same. And Anja and Christian were our second profile. And it literally, like, love at first sight with them, like just meant to be. And it's just so funny how things truly work out that way. And so I think that kind of was surprising for us. But just the same as they said, like, you know, during that interview, we ask all those hard questions and what is your opinion on this? And how do you feel about things as simple as like the epidural or things like that, you know, just to make sure that we're all on the same page going right forth into the process.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I've been interviewing quite a few people and I'm hearing this common theme where it's almost like you know when you know. It's like this instant, immediate attraction or, you know, alignment for intended parents and the surrogates, which is beautiful. I mean, it's such a huge thing to do on both sides. So I love that has been your experience. Now, Brittany, with your second in a row, that's even greater. Looking back, can you describe what it was like when you first met or spoke? What was going through your minds? Was it excitement, nervousness, or maybe wondering if this would be the right connection or for something so important?
Yeah, so super easy. I think it was excitement from the start. And I think things were clear from the start, and it never been a question if it was the wrong match or never thought about it. It was like instantly right and felt right and super excited. So after the call, we were like, let's go on. So
yes,
yes, exactly.
I guess for me, if I would take even a step back before we actually met, I would have said that I was scared. And I think that's probably more a fact of me being the woman not being able to carry. So scared of, who is that? Is that going to be the mom? Is it me going to? So a bit the fear that was around that even the agency, they asked us to build up a relationship. And I was a bit scared. I have to admit, in the beginning, I was scared to build a relationship because and it's so ridiculous now retrospectively, right? But I was afraid of having kind of another woman that is competing, which is completely ridiculous. It has nothing to do. It's so wrong. But I think as a woman, you go into because you're not the one that carries, and you have a bit of fear. It just dropped immediately away the moment I met Brittany. It was just all gone. There was just not 1 second anymore of that fear. But before, I guess it was a bit this uncomfortable situation of not knowing, not being the one that carries and everyone else carries. So I think that is a scary moment before you meet. And I said it just vanished the second I met Brittany. So.
Well, thank you for that vulnerability and that honesty, because I as a woman, I can 100% see how you might feel that way. So I really appreciate you being so transparent about that.
There was one moment, because when we talked, I said, what if you have to fear, what if the surrogate mom doesn't give up the child, right? That's the fear. It's like, right? And I remember crystal clear that the question that Brittany asked is like, what if you're not coming to pick it up? And I was like, and it just hit me. And I was like, okay, I think it's, we bros have, there is no question of who the mom is, but it is this, you have this fear of what if we have all the hope, you live through the 9 months and then, I don't know, she doesn't give it up, which is completely, as I said, it's nonsense. It has nothing to do, but it's the emotion you go into these journeys. They are there, and yeah, they go away obviously immediately, but they are there.
So, Brittany, you were feeling that same concern, just on the other side?
Well, so we have 2 boys of our own, and we were done building our family. Our family for us was complete. And so there was always that fear too, you know, what if something happens to the parents, or what if they can't make it, or what if they change their mind? And so, yeah, just on the other side, you know, that's the same fear here as well. So, but when we met, the first time we met in person, they came for the 20-week ultrasound, and that was the first time we physically met in person, and it was everything that I expected and more. And even just to see them with our children and the way that they just instantaneously loved our children just showed absolutely what amazing parents they were going to be, and it just made everything so much more exciting. So,
and the dogs.
And the dogs, they did. They took our dogs running, and it was wonderful. It truly was.
Anja and Christian, what led you to choose an American surrogate?
Well, we talked to Swiss lawyers, a lawyer here in Switzerland, and they gave us we really had a plus and a minus on the board of what are the pros and the contras of actually the different locations. And I think America was ultimately because it's a similar culture. We speak fluently English. We can connect. We believe it has a fantastic medical system. We lived in New York for 3 years. So for us, it was just the proximity that somehow it felt, while being away, but still close to how we live and what we believe. So I guess that was... And the simplicity, obviously back then, the simplicity as well of bringing back home the child. That is, America has a big advantage to bring back a child that was born through surrogacy.
And what do you think would be like the most important factor in all of that?
I think it's the culture. It's being able to talk, because the most important is to connect, is to be able to live through the pregnancy, and that when you start building relationship, if you have somewhere, a country that you don't speak the language, I don't know how you want to share the moments. I don't know how you want to participate in the full 9 months and talk about your fears. And so I think having this culture and particularly as well that the language that you can communicate is at the most important.
Yeah. So if you want, surrogacy is a journey, and if you want to live that journey, you need to share what you live with the surrogate, etc. And so you need similar culture. You need to interact. So I think, America or is probably the easiest, closest for us in terms of surrogacy. I mean, all the other models, Eastern Europe, etc., that's very different. So you cannot compare.
Well, that makes sense, I would imagine. This is already a complicated situation to begin with, or a lot of moving parts. You know, those are the things that would really help it make it less stressful, I suppose. Did you notice any cultural differences, and how did you work through those?
Our cultures are very similar, you know, in the way we live, our lifestyles, and just how families grow up. And I don't think we as a match noticed cultural differences or had to work through cultural differences. I think it was just, you know, we just hit it off right from the start.
Yeah, it wasn't like Brittany lived in Zimbabwe or something and out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
And that was a big thing for us, too, was the fact that, they asked if we would be willing to carry for international. And we had said yes, but we preferred European international in the sense of the same as what they said. The cultural Europe is very similar to us here in the U.S. And in Europe, a lot of times they speak English. And so we wanted to be able to have that communication and to be able to build that bond as well.
If you talk about different culture, and what matters to us as well is we knew that it is different. Brittany will be doing things different than I would do, right? But different is good because I wasn't able to carry. So also accepting sometimes that different is not bad. Different is here. It's probably that's what it's needed because I wasn't able to do. So also accepting and being this open-minded that things are different. They are slightly different in America and Switzerland, but in that sense, you have healthy children, you have good family, they are a healthy family, Brittany is full of energy, so trusting as well that different is probably in that sense is good, and different is what we're looking for because the same doesn't work apparently, so we weren't able to do so. Different is the good thing.
Now, if you want a difference, and it's a bit of culture, but the US medical system is quite different. And if you're in this international surrogacy concept, it's something you need to be aware of. So, for example, in Switzerland, we all have insurance. We have a health insurance, we have an accident insurance, everybody. So we have no financial risk out of whatever happens from a medical point of view. So everything is paid basically. And when you work with the US, the medical system on its own is a kind of beast. And it's and it's difficult for us at the beginning when you're like, the kid will be born, but actually it's difficult to insure that kid at birth. And you're like, well, in Switzerland, you can insure 6 months before your kids, and it costs nothing, and everything will be paid. So,
what if you have an EQ, right? What if all these questions? What if there are complications? How much does it cost? So, not being able to predict. In Switzerland, you're covered. You have an insurance. You know whatever it costs, and not knowing. I think that's from a culture from Switzerland versus America.
So that's one side we had to accept. Yeah, it's different. We might have some financial risk on the back of that weird medical system, and we need to accept it. But I think it's the only time in my life I took some financial risk from a health point of view, which is weird, right? Because you can have twins on the ICU for 1 year and whatever, and it can cost you a fortune. So that's a different way to be aware of.
Wow, yeah, you guys are very lucky. Insurance in the United States is crazy.
Yeah, we realized so.
Yeah. Were there other countries that you considered?
So we initially considered, there are a couple of options, Eastern countries like Ukraine at the time, probably not anymore. There's some others like a list of India and some others, but it's all the time it's kind of complicated and typically you don't build a relationship with the surrogate mom. So somehow it happens and then you go there, get a kid and that's it. So it's very different, and for us it was not a real option. So we informed us, but that's it, basically.
This seems like a much, what's the word I'm looking for? Just a more family feel,
Correct.
Versus,
Correct. The other one is really more business, where the women actually carries the child and delivers you the child, like post, or like you get a kind of something in a packet, right? A present. It's not about building a relationship. It's because usually they don't speak the same language anyway. They don't speak English, so there's no way to have a connection. So it's a very different business model that we chose to be it's not for us, right? That is
Probably felt very transactional.
Yes, absolutely.
So what were some of the biggest things you had to consider to figure out when pursuing surrogacies across international borders?
Well, for Switzerland, surrogacy is illegal. So in that sense, so it's illegal to do it in Switzerland. So I think that's probably the biggest hurdle that we had, is knowing what is the legal system that the child is accepted in here. How do we deal with our families? Do we tell about it because it's illegal? So I think that was, I would have said that's probably the biggest challenge, was that uncertainty. And obviously we had a good lawyer here in Switzerland that has done surrogacy multiple times, so she could advise us in exactly every step and what are the cause and how does it work. But at the end, it's still I would say a bit of a wiggly legal ground here. It's kind of the European Union. It's a court decision that to protect a child, that Switzerland has to accept the parenthood of a child if it's biologically a child. But it's something that it's not a decision here in Switzerland, it's in Europe. So it's this uncertainty on the legal ground is probably the biggest challenge that at least I felt during the full process.
Yeah. So question number one is how you bring back the kid, right? So both our kids born in the US. Now, how do you go back to Switzerland, right? So if you need to take a plane, so you go to the airport and there's a border there. So you need a passport to exit the country, and you need a passport to enter Switzerland. So passport is the first challenge, and the US has that great things still, I hope. I don't know for how long. But yeah, if you're born in the US, you have a US passport, and that allowed us to exit the US and enter Switzerland. So that's number one. And second one is, as you said, is now how to be recognized as parents in Switzerland. Because in the US, yes, we have a birth certificate with our names, but in Switzerland, we don't have. So in the Swiss system, you need to be recognized as parent. And that is a tricky thing. We've done it, but it's tricky. So that's the probably second big thing to sort out. And I think the decision for us was, let's work with professionals so that we can delegate that whole mess, complicated, bureaucratic thing to specialists, and let's focus on people, on the relationship, on the fun of the journey, and ignore the rest. So it's
leave all that red tape and all that stuff and to the lawyers and attorneys. Correct. And let them sort that out and just make sure it's good to go so that you can enjoy the journey, like you said.
Yeah, and I think this journey are complicated enough where people need really to understand also their limit, what they're ready to do themselves and what they're happy to delegate. And we always say probably one of the key advice is you need to let it go and the piece where other people can do it better than you because they're professional, let it go and focus on the human aspect, basically. Sure.
What would you tell intended families that live outside of the U.S. that are working with an American surrogate? What would be some advice or something that you would share with them?
Oh, go for it. Go for it. And one step at a time. I mean, it feels like a huge, when you start, it's massive with contracts. American contracts are huge. As I said, the legal is on, but it's all doable. Just one step at a time. Just take one thing, then the next one, and don't forget to enjoy it. It's such, I found a sister that lives in America, right? And that is a new family first member, and it's absolutely lovely. So go for it, and one step at a time.
That's lovely. I like that. So now, once you have been matched, you were matched with Brittany, how did you go about building trust and good communication between the two of you, or the three of you, or the four of you, I guess, maybe even with Brittany's husband?
So funny enough, I think the agency I think they forced us. It was in the contract even that we were supposed to have a weekly call, if I remember correctly. Funny enough, because afterwards it was not forced, but in the beginning we had weekly calls, video calls. We had a WhatsApp group that is called The Dream, and so just shared of WhatsApp call, talk regularly.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was just having that open communication with all of us and being willing to have those weekly calls, even though sometimes that felt awkward. Like, what are we going to talk about today? And it always felt natural as soon as we jumped on the phone. And that definitely helped build our relationship throughout the journey.
So that's interesting. I didn't realize that was kind of part of a contractual agreement, is that you do have these weekly check-ins with one another. And I would imagine that's good for building rapport and, also updates and things of that nature. But I'm sure those initial ones were a little like, oh, do we really have to do this? Like an assignment. How did you stay connected through the ups and downs, the emotional ups and downs of that? How did you communicate and stay connected?
I was very open to having them extremely involved in, we would video chat during all doctor's appointments and all ultrasounds. And I wanted this was their pregnancy and their baby. And so I wanted them to be able to ask the questions that they wanted to ask the doctors and talk to the people that they wanted to talk to and enjoy this as if they were carrying the baby themselves. And so we were just very open communication and just updated continually.
What helped for me a lot, or for us, was that Brittany showed such a big understanding of where we are, and she respected everything that we asked for, even if it would have been probably against. And I remember in the beginning of the pregnancy, I don't know if you remember, I said, we don't want to know if the pregnancy is positive. We said, we don't want to know. We just want to know after 5 days or 7 days, the official test. We don't want to have anything. And Brittany, she didn't say anything. Afterwards, she told us she took every day a pregnancy test, and she knew that she was positive. But she respected that fear that we said we don't want to have. We lived through so many roller coasters, was half positive, negative, and we said, you know what, I can't deal with this, and I want to know when it's really official positive. I want to hear it once, and so having Brittany to respect and be so gentle with us, and accepting that we went through a lot of emotional roller coaster before, and being so understanding and empathy is just makes it so much easier, because she really, one of her most care was taking care about us, that we had a positive journey in all the sense, and putting hers, I would say, back what she would have done, maybe things differently, but putting us first. And that made it much
She's
easier.
having to sit on her hands like, no, don't send an email, I can't.
That's tough.
Brittany had also this little device to measure the heartbeat, at home. And that was also great. So she was sending us videos of the heartbeat or the sound by WhatsApp, or texting us when the baby had the hiccup, so we were extremely involved, and all these little signs where it's just helping to be connected, to know what's happening, to share, and yeah.
Thank God for medical or for technology, and said that you were able to really be a part of all of this. I mean, how cool is that, And it is important for you to be there to hear what the doctor said, even though you could get it related. It just like it was a front row seat, and you were. I mean, you're the parents, and so that makes a lot of sense, and I'm super grateful that has been your experience. That's amazing. Were there any specific challenges that you ran into?
I really don't think our first journey just went flawless. It truly was such a spectacular journey throughout the entire journey. we didn't have complications. The baby was healthy the entire time. The parents made it here for the delivery. Like, it was just such a good journey.
You guys are the poster children for like.
But also, even the second one, right? Even with Timo, both of them were.
So our second one, we had a transfer not take.
Yeah.
And that was the first time for me. And that was, I mean, obviously not the first time for you, but that was the first time for me of a transfer not working. And so that was kind of surprising to me. And yeah, but we worked through it and went right along for the second one.
Yeah, got right back up and started again.
Mm-hmm. But for us, it was a massive difference. So before the first journey, for the last, 8-10 years, everything we did went wrong every time and in all possible ways and always totally unexpected and at weird times and bad news over bad news. And then we started that surrogacy journey. And it was exactly the opposite. It went well from first time, directly, boom, no medical issue, clearing, matching, blah, blah, blah. And that was just like the total opposite. So, yeah, it was like a big difference.
Finally!
Finally.
Looking back on delivery day, what do you each remember most about that experience? What did it feel like to reach that moment together?
So I think the same evening we were we were with Brittany and Chris and the kids. We were having dinner and then we came back at home and then went to bed and then we got an SMS, WhatsApp from Brittany saying, "Oh, I have contraction, heading to a hospital." And we're like, "Oh, this is happening," my goodness, now it's getting serious. So, I remember that one.
Yeah. I remember the delivery well. I mean, other than I think we had a blast. We were laughing a lot. We had a really good time. The only, I guess, if I would say probably a bit negative was the guilt that I felt that when I saw Brittany in so much pain, that I was like, she's doing that. It should be me, that I should be suffering. I should be, so not being able to take away her pain that she clearly was. It was for me sometimes like, she does it all for us. I mean, it's massive pain she goes through and not being able to to live her this pain and the guilt that it's not me and that it's her. I guess that's the only thing when you're there. That's why I think we work very close. I remember I massaged you back because I said, I have to do everything that I can to possibly make it a little bit less hard on her because she does it for us. So I think always an emotion that will carry in me, this a bit, well, gratitude, but as well guilt that you did it, that it wasn't me that was in pain.
And that makes my heart so sad. I know. I just had this thought in my head that I wanted to try to do this natural with no epidural. And who am I kidding? That should not even be a thing. So poor Anja and Christian had to suffer with me through that until I finally decided, yeah, we're over this. It's been long enough. We're going to get an epidural. But I think I remember the most about delivery day. One, like Christian said, like we were all together eating dinner. I think we were playing Wii with the kids, and it was such a fun night. And I remember they asked if they could pick me up and take me to the hospital, and I absolutely loved that. And then when we delivered, the moment that they saw the baby for the very first time, our doctor was very hands-on, and so he was very much like, come help deliver, and here Anja, come help deliver your baby, and here Christian. And so that moment that they got to see their baby, and then just seeing them bond with that baby and do skin to skin after that delivery was just so, so, so incredible.
Yeah, what did it feel like in that moment, like as a team, that you're like, we did this, you know? When did that kind of hit you, and how did that feel?
It's just amazing, right? It's you can't express it. It's once you have that baby. I was actually being the doctor let me take out Zoe and take the baby out, right? So I was there taking a baby, and I was like, this is just, I don't know what to do. And then you realize suddenly what it's there. It's finally, it's healthy. The baby's healthy and everyone is healthy, and the emotions you can't explain, right? It's just too much.
Surreal.
Yeah, instantly connected. I remember a funny one. So I think we had quickly after us like a photograph, someone taking pictures, creating little movies, and so we came and took Zoe and put her on her bed, nice pictures, and then a couple of hours later you get a nice little video with some music, etc. And I watched that stuff, and it was amazing. It was beautiful and music, emotional. And then I realized, but that's mine. It's mine. And somehow it's like I realized, yeah, it's mine. I felt so proud and grateful. So I think I ran into Brittany's room. Hey, look.
Yeah, the hospital did so well with just keeping us close together during all of that. Even after delivery, mom and dad had a room with baby, and then my husband and I had our own room, and they were very close together, and they just did such a good job and Anja and Christian truly did such an incredible job at keeping me close at the end of all of that, because, you know, for me, like, that's delivery. This is the end of our journey. And so as a surrogate, sometimes that can kind of be hard because you're going through this whole entire process and you're so excited for this whole entire process, and now it's come to an end. And how do you deal with that emotionally? And they truly did such an incredible job just by involving me with everything just right after the delivery, and you know, letting me see the baby and all the things. And so I really can't thank them enough for everything they've done.
Oh. Well, and it seems like, yeah, love fest.
Literally.
Well, and this, to me, after you've completed this, it kind of makes sense that you were inspired then to do the sibling journey as a team, I would imagine. I mean, how long did it take you to decide, hey, we want to do this again, and both of you were on, or, you know, you both were on the same page?
I was very caught off guard. I don't think we had really discussed a sibling journey like throughout the process. I just didn't even expect it. And then it was around Christmas time, and Anja and Christian, so Zoe at that time was 6. She was almost a year old. And it was right around Christmas time, and they had asked if they could Skype with us. And so they reached out to us, and we set up a Skype with them, and they asked if we would carry a second baby for them. And it was just an automatic yes, like no question about it at all in any way, shape, or form. But I was truly caught off guard in such like a pleasant way. It was such an awesome, it was a great Christmas. No hesitation.
It was a firm yes. That's amazing.
Do you think, did we talk about it during our journey? Do you remember?
But I think we probably spoke about it. So when you came to Switzerland and you came to visit us, so we went a week on holiday together. And I think somehow that topic came, or indirectly. And initially for us, it was not really a topic. We were happy finally to have one. Yeah. And over time, we somehow felt that maybe for us it would be easier just to have one. So single kids, it's probably easier. 2 is more work. But as well for Zoe, it would be nice to have a sister, brother, to be 2. It's better for her as well. So, and then, we somehow went that way. So
I'm not sure if you would have made the second journey without you. So I don't know if we would have gone through a full rematching. It was just, we knew that we'd love to be even further in connection with you, to do it, which was just for us so the natural thing, right? For us, it was even having one child. We say everything in the universe is against us having a child, right? It has never worked. So we should be grateful of having one. So we said, should we really push for two? So we would have not gone with another surrogate, I don't think. But with Brittany, it was just, it's my sister. I said, if I would definitely, I'd love to be even in the same boat again, talk about the Skypes and going all the three emotions and live that experience, because at the end it was an amazing experience. So it was really Brittany. It was because Brittany was there. We did a second job.
Oh, wow. You guys really do have a beautiful relationship. This is amazing. Were there any emotional or logistical differences between the first and the second journeys that are standing out to you?
So second journey was a bit special because it was COVID time. So basically traveling was almost impossible. And we were lucky to have our first one with a US passport, which ensured us to be allowed to enter into the US. Otherwise, it would have been a really tough one. So COVID made it very complicated. And, we had to fly for, 9-10 hours with a mask on. So Zoe was 2.5 years old in a plane, and she had to carry a mask in a plane, and you cannot, and it's no joke. So it has to be done that way. So that was the first challenge. And then the second challenge was, I think the US government was in this kind of shutdown mode because of the dead sailing or whatever. And I think the US administration, so for example, the passport administration was also shut down, and we had to wait longer to get a passport, and we had to fly to Minneapolis, or I don't remember which city, to get a passport. So everything was a bit more complicated because of COVID.
Yeah, I'd say.
And our first transfer didn't take.
Yeah. And obviously, when you have the second one, is you can't actually the delivery, right? In the first one, we were both at the hospital. We could both stay at the hospital because we have no one else, right? But if you have the second one, you have the firstborn that is already there. So Christian didn't sleep with me at the hospital the first night because obviously it's not her natural home, right? It's not that the grandparents would be there, that you can give the Zoe to grandparents. So she stayed then with actually Brittany's family, knowing that she doesn't know them really. So a bit a bit torn that you have Zoe that is here that needs you, but also you want to spend the time with Timo, with the second one. I think that's a bit the challenge that you have to deal with when you have a second, because you have just you already have one that needs you, that you can't just fully emerge into the delivery of the second one. I think that's a bit of an organization on its own.
At that time, Zoe, she didn't know English yet either. And so there was that language barrier when my family had her of communication, and they all got through it. She was, like I said, 2.5, but it was challenging. And when we were 12 weeks pregnant, I ended up getting COVID. And so it was scary because things were extremely unknown at that time. And so the journey was definitely a bit more complicated. Still an incredible journey and went amazing. But yeah, some more challenges.
Brittany, what would you say to somebody who's considering being a second-time surrogate?
Like Anja said, go for it. And a lot of times, you already know how a journey works and how the process works. And so I felt like that was so helpful in our journey that I could truly help them walk through this process because I already knew how it worked and how everything went and what to expect. And so as an experienced surrogate, I feel like you can help truly ease the minds of intended parents, having already known the process, and help kind of make things a little bit easier. But the journey is just as good, if not better. Like, it's just definitely go for it if it's available. I would help the whole world if I could. but I absolutely loved our sibling journey. It was absolutely incredible, and it just brought us even closer. So they are our family, our faraway family, and we love them.
When you reflect on everything that you guys have experienced together, how has this journey shaped you, not just as parents and surrogate, but as people?
I think it gave me confidence to know that even in tough situation, if you take it a step at a time, you will get there. You don't know when, but you will get there. So step at a time, and wait, go for it. So I think that confidence now is in me, and whatever will happen in the future, I think shape that confidence somehow.
Yeah, I would say the same. Probably that taking maybe challenges or obstacle that you have, that there's a great chance that it's actually a miracle that is behind, that it's an opportunity. So the fact that I couldn't carry a child it was a sad moment, and you could have have your head down. But at the end, what it led to is that it let us meet Brittany. It let us live that experience. So accepting that sometimes things are maybe bad and they're not the way you are, but maybe there's opportunity behind. Maybe there's actually a miracle behind that you can live through. So see the positive side of all the negative that it can be. Potentially at the end of the game, it's actually even more beautiful, and you come out stronger and bigger. So not giving up if something is difficult.
Yeah, and if someone would ask me, would you go through that whole journey of maybe 10 years without kids, etc., would you skip that part? Probably now I would say, no. I think that journey shaped. I don't know. I think journey shaped what
She's like, well.
That was also unique. So
I know a lot of medicines, a lot of syringes.
Yeah.
So but
lots of opportunities for growth.
I think for me, surrogacy has truly shown me and my children and family just how to be humble, and it truly shows just our children what selflessness looks like, and what gratitude and just being able to be open to society and open to the world and open to new technology and things that are truly available. There's such a stigma sometimes behind surrogacy, and it's just that people really just don't even understand what the process means or entails. And so, our young children would share it with their classmates and their friends, and, just being able to kind of show them just how to be humble in life. And that's what I really, truly got from the journey as far as my family. So,
Brittany, what would you say to someone who is listening and thinking about becoming a surrogate with international intended parents?
I truly had such amazing journeys, and it really opened my eyes to other cultures and other people. And we now have family in other countries, and if I were to carry again, it would be international. I'm not carrying again, but if I were, it would be international. I think that I truly have grown so close to my international intended parents, and they're no different than intended parents in the U.S. Everybody out there, these intended parents struggle, and they really could use that help from surrogates from all around the world. So if you're considering being a surrogate for an international couple, go for it.
Well, it's such an altruistic thing to do, to give your body to help intended parents become parents. It's really a beautiful, beautiful service that you've offered the world. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And at the same time, I couldn't imagine life without our children. And I would have gone to the ends of the earth, just like Anja and Christian, for that family. And so just being able to help give that gift, I mean, it means the world to me that I could even have the honor to carry for them and have the honor that, you know, I have another sister in life and we truly have such an incredible bond with them.
Well, if there was anything that you wish someone would have told you starting out in all this, well, what would it have been?
Don't be scared. Trust the process. The process really does work. Surrogacy really can work. And just don't give up.
We met a doctor in Spain that told us that, Anja, you will never be pregnant, you will never carry a child. And what that doctor said something to us that I wish that someone else would have said it before. They said, if you want to be a parent, there is a way. You will be parent. There is maybe not the way how you wish, maybe not as fast as you wish, but you will get there. So instead of being the victim, right, of not working, and being now in the driving seat, that you will get. It's your choice how far you want to go. You want to go a surrogate, you want to have egg donor, you want to have sperm. It's your choice. So you're being suddenly not in the victim seat of, oh, my body is failing, but I'm now in the driving seat. It's my choice how far I want to go. It's my choice. If I want to have a child, if I want to be a mom and a dad, it's my choice. And that's such a powerful message that suddenly turning around said, you're actually in the driving seat. You will be a mom and a dad if you want. And surrogacy is definitely, it works. It works. You can have a child, so go for it. That's right, go for it. It's in your choice. You can be a mom. Everyone can be a mom if you want. If you want, it's your choice.
Surrogacy truly does make dreams come true. And, you know, Christian was saying our WhatsApp group is called Dream, and it's been that way since the very beginning. And but surrogacy is powerful, and it really does make dreams come true.
What's one word or phrase that you would use to describe your surrogacy journey together?
Dream, love, passion.
Anja says all the time, Brittany is our angel. So angel.
Rewarding. You know, surrogacy itself is just very rewarding.
Well, thank you all for making the time to share all of your stories here. It's been very powerful, and I learned a lot, and I think you guys are all fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you for having us.
That wraps up this episode of Let's Talk Surrogacy. If you liked this episode, please like and subscribe for more surrogacy-related content.